I'm going to talk a little bit about PI, but I'm going to try and give you, if I can, in 20 minutes, something that you can take away. We all work in different industries, we all have different clients, different challenges, different objectives. But if I can just try and leave you with a couple of things that will still be applicable to you, that's my goal. Let's see how we go. All right, so Planet Innovation, we're a product development and commercialization company. We're about 7 years old, so we develop products and we help to commercialize them. Most of those products are in the medical space, but they all have a positive impact on the world in which we live. Okay? To do that, we need a team of pretty talented and strong people. So over the last 7 years, we've built about 220 engineers, scientists, designers, commercialization people, really brilliant people. That's a picture of them. Juggling. Right? So juggling is really important because juggling builds neural pathways between opposite hemispheres of the brain. And that's the pitch that we gave to HR because a bunch of us just wanted to learn how to juggle and we needed to get a juggler in to do that, right? So that's a shot of a couple of the team there just having a bit of fun. Aside from the team in Melbourne, who this is, we've got a team in Chicago and San Francisco, commercial team. And when they visit Australia, they come out and present to the team. They give a report out on how things are going through the US commercialization. This is a photo of that team. And while they were presenting, the CEO thought it'd be good to put up a picture of the Anchorman team and Ron Burgundy behind them because he could see some similarities between his own personal commercialization team and the group. And these shots are just there to kind of indicate that we really don't take ourselves too seriously at Planet Innovation. It's a clear culture. You will not survive if you take yourself too seriously at our company. We won't let you do that. But a lot of the work that we do is quite serious. So this is a type of product that we might develop. We developed that for a California-based company called Kydell, and it detects influenza. The flu kills 500,000 people a year. We have a pandemic every 20 or 30 years that kills 50 million people. Totally treatable if you can diagnose it in the first 48 hours, and that's what this sort of a product does. This is a product used for the automated tracking of IVF samples. IVF's been around for 30 years. It's still almost a completely manual process. 2 people match the right sperm with the right egg. Right? So we build systems that allow you to automate that to improve the chance of people taking home a healthy baby and the baby that they wanted. In addition to that, we have a commercialization team, some handsome-looking roosters in that photo, Carl. And I remember them taking this photo, and all I could hear was, could the guy with the bald head go a little bit further back? A little bit. No. Go behind the bust. Go behind the headless figure, okay? Because we not only develop products for clients, we also develop our own products. We go through the pain that Jen's been through. We develop our own marketing, our branding, distribution channels. We wear all of that. Service calls, the failures, taking it back. So we do a little bit of both, which really helps us inform that. That's one of our products. It's a smart thermostat. It goes on the wall. It's connected to your phone. We then build a cloud-enabled energy management system that allows somebody like McDonald's to control 200 stores remotely, just to make sure that when everyone goes home at night, the heating's at the right level and so forth. And like Christina mentioned, we have been fortunate to win some of the awards because a lot of us want to be perceived as innovative. Man, we even stuck the word in our name 7 years ago. So we went to pretty strong lengths, but it's pretty hard, right? So the awards do help. And I encourage anybody that's looking at the awards to have a go at it, put it in. You do get a lot out of it. All right, let's get started. So this is disclaimer time. Planet Innovation hereby states that the information it's about to provide may or may not have any impact on the success of your idea. In fact, there are many documented cases where people with the exact opposite to what we're about to present have become obscenely rich, and we wish them well. Sincerely, we do. We just don't think that that is a great strategy. So we have about 2 people a week approach us that want to work with us on different ideas. That's 100 a year, okay? So lots of people, lots of ideas. And most of them fail. And they fail for commercial reasons, not for technical reasons, okay? And a lot of them have this idea that I've read this story, I've heard about this guy, and it's a little bit like their hero is this dude, the person that got rich at the casino. Because we all write about it, yeah? And it seems really easy, overnight success. But most fail. And the reason that they fail is varied, but one of them is that People end up doing what they know and what they like, which is rarely what they need to be successful. So if it all comes together and you're lucky and you work hard and things come, perfect, you'll be successful. But there are thousands failing. And this is one of the reasons. I do what I know and what I like, right? It's just a human characteristic. And so you have to recognise that. And this is kind of a little bit of the psychology that we kind of bring to the team. So if we know that, what can we do? And we have to compensate for it. And the two pillars that we build in our company continually is people and process. And that's the way of compensating from just people doing what they know and what they like and hoping that they're successful. This builds a level of certainty that the ideas that we have will either be washed out, pivoted, changed, or driven to success. So let's go through it really quick. Diversity. It sounds simple. I'm not just talking about demographic diversity. We hire people that think differently. We hire people that act differently. Some of these people are a real pain in the ass to work with, right? They hired me. I'm a real pain in the ass to work with. I believe nothing you tell me. I want to challenge everything. I'm inquisitive, okay? So we bring these styles of thinking. We have introverts, extroverts, all those sorts of things. With innovation, diversity, and difference is good, okay? When we hire people, it's a strange thing. You end up hiring people that are a little bit like you, right? It's kind of if you ever watch it, it happens a lot. So when we ever recruit people, we often recruit with two different people doing the recruiting. I don't like that guy. Actually, I think that person's got something. Okay? You have that dialogue. So, hire for difference, and then the big one. Once you've got them, don't stick them in buildings that are apart. We've travelled around the world and worked with some of the most innovative companies that build some of the best products, and they have the manufacturing wing, the engineering building, the commercialization suite. They literally build physical silos. Sometimes it's floors, i.e. they're on the engineering floor, okay? It happens a lot. It's just a natural thing as these companies grow. It makes sense to put them all together. So this is not a professionally taken photo. This is just Rog stepping up. This is my desk here, standing back with a pano, no bean bags and a few surprised looks. But in this photo, we have finance director, CEO, myself. I have a designer sitting right there. I have a mergers and acquisition head, lead in science and engineering team lead there. And we also have a few of our ventures. So our head of our NPlex venture, our point of care sits there. Vitalix, which is a medical monitoring venture we've got. And Zen, the energy management. No beanbags, but lots of interaction. You literally stand up and you can talk to anybody in the whole company and touch any part of that business. Now, if you need to be left alone, you simply lock down. Put your headphones on, get left alone. But it's remarkable the power that comes from that sort of a structure, okay? So have a look around. Have your own place. Are there barriers or things that don't need to be there? What interactions can you make? Daily, okay? It can't be a monthly catch-up. Like, this is daily rub that happens. Diversity. Focus, right, now you got them, okay? So they're really creative, they're challenging, they're curious, they're smart, they're bouncing into each other. They'll just head in a million directions, yeah? Because they're self-motivated. So the ability to focus with a common enemy, and we create common enemies. And this is an actual shot again of the Zen team that was working. I just stood back, took a shot. Common enemy, but in that photo, we've got designers, mechanical, software, support, logistics, some marketing dude behind the camera, all looking at the same board. The ability to focus that diverse energy is really awesome. And visual ways of doing that are very powerful. Stick stuff up. It's really hard to be aiming at different things when you can look at it and go, you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at? And freedom, okay? Really easy to say, really hard to do. I catch myself. What are you doing? What are you working on? What did you do yesterday? What are you spending your time on? What's your plan for the next week? Right? They're all those statements, they're all kind of narrows, right? They're all kind of a little bit judgmental. You can't help it, right? So getting that balance of providing freedom to creative thinkers and having the courage to do that really pays off. So these are two of our guys, Ben and Darby, two of our design team. An actual shot that I snapped with two really young designers, Mike and Marley. I think they were working out, they're in their 20s, working out of their own lounge room at the time. Okay, and they were doing some really cool space in animation and virtual reality. So we hung out for them for a while. What's going on here? And then we got introduced to these guys, Wicked Witch, right? These guys look like they just walked off the stage of a heavy metal concert. That's exactly how they dressed, right? Crazy dudes. These are working in gamification and virtual reality. So we explored and played and did some bits and pieces. Within 6 months, we were delivering virtual reality experiences to one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, based out of Europe. Now, there was no strategy meeting that said, we want animation and virtual reality to become an important pillar of the offering that we're providing our clients. We have those meetings, but that's not where this came from. This came from curious people trying to deliver value to a client, being curious and allowed to explore. Knowing when that exploration is going to go nowhere, but also knowing when, you know what, there's something in this. The CEO was as surprised as many other people when they said, man, we've just landed a massive deal in this area. Okay, this is what they're going to use at their trade show and so and so. Good. That's the sort of dynamic you want. Trust. That's the people side. So we compensate it with the process side. This can be boring when you work in medical device development, all right? So we have a boring medical device development process. The FDA kind of like it, right? So it kind of helps. So we tick that box. We have that. We've also got a process around commercialization. This is less common. Yeah? Most products fail for commercial reasons than technical reasons. So we call it pitch big, but it forces us to really rapidly test the market and the appetite for a product, as well as test does the product work. Are people going to buy what you're selling, and is everybody going to make money out of it? Because if it doesn't, it's going to die. And we don't want to just launch in 2 years' time and hope. So there's ways and techniques, and this process drives us to doing that. But the one I really want to talk about and spend the last 10 minutes is on problem solving, because this one's a beauty. If you can solve problems, you are really valuable. Generic problems. And people have this innate ability. They're generically good at solving problems. So what is it? So we scientifically kind of take it apart, and we practically take it apart. Let's have a look. What goes into this? One of the things when I started to talk to one of the clients, I said, we have a problem solving. He goes, Raj, enough of the problems. I want some blue sky opportunity thinking. You're being too negative, right? No joke. It's exactly how he said it to me. And it was like, nah, I'm going to push back. I said, so here's the problem with blue sky from where we see it. My daughter helped me with this slide. Blue sky is good, right? This is Samara's work. Blue sky, you see unicorns, more unicorns. I see rainbows. It's good, right? And stuff can happen, but it kind of gets a little bit optional. Like if you're a little bit busy, we'll get to the blue sky stuff later. It's kind of... But when you talk about problems, right? When you say, hey, I've got a problem to solve, everyone goes, ooh, I reckon I could solve that. What problem are you talking about? People really huddle around trying to solve a problem. It just appeals to part of the psychology. And we're really good at it, yeah? We're really good at solving. So let's solve one. Here we go. Stick with me, it's going to get faster. Where's the next move? Bottom right? Smash it. That was pretty quick. And this is what we do, right? This is how we solve problems. Bang. So we're really good at solving problems. The thing is, what we're not good at doing is understanding what's the problem we're solving. Because a lot of the problems we solve are simple, so they just require simple thinking, right? You see this, you go, I recognise it, I've solved it before, this is how I solve that problem. But when you work in a space where you're faced with a lot of really challenging problems that people all around the world are struggling to solve, conventional thinking doesn't hack it, right? It just doesn't. It's too hard. So we've been forced into solving a lot of really technical problems. That's why people come from all around the world to this little place out in Box Hill, right? Because they're trying to solve problems that they can't solve by just using an engineering company next door. And it's because of this. It's because they're trying to solve the wrong problem. So we always ask, what's the problem we're trying to solve here? First question, well, it's obvious. Yeah, humour me. Let's go through it anyway, okay? What's the problem you're trying to solve? Well, I want you to create a symmetrical image using noughts and crosses. That ain't the answer. That's going to be the answer. The ability to back up and challenge the question and challenge the assumptions that you brought to the problems that you face. They're just so invisible. We spend our whole lives in an education system and then even in a work environment that conditions our thinking into saying, this is how I deal with relationship issues. This is how I deal with commercial issues. This is how I deal with expansion and growth. I've done it before. Yeah. Humour me. Let's back it up and deconstruct the problem. A bit like Ben was talking. Understand the job. Theodore Levitt, yeah? Marketing myopia. What's the purpose? What are we really trying to achieve here? So to do that, and to stop us at PI doing that, we have our own process. Okay, it's called the Bright process, and it is, I use the word borrowed, but it's stolen heavily from design thinking methodology, okay? And we took it apart and we grabbed it, and we love the double diamond approach. So the Bright process has 6 steps. The first 3 are dedicated to problem space. Expand the problem space, contract it. And then, and only then, do we move on to solution space. Expand and contract. Okay? Brief, research, immersion, generate, harvest ideas. This forces us to take it apart. It allows us to solve problems on a repeatable basis that otherwise we might not. We don't like dead ends. We like to get to the end. So let's have a really quick look. I'm going to stop on 1 or 2 of these, particularly, and have a look. This is the most important one, the brief, yeah? What's the problem we're trying to solve? So to do this, you need to think a certain way. Who's got a doctor? Everyone got a doctor? Yeah? I've got 2. Why have I got 2 doctors? First doctor looks a bit like this guy, right? He's the doctor I go to when my back's playing up and I need my anti-inflammatories. I walk in and say, Doc, he says, Rog, his back's playing up. Yeah, he asked me one question. What's the question this doctor asks me?
What do you want?
How many repeats do you want? That's it, right? How many repeats do you want, Rog? Make it 2. Right? Dr. A. Dr. B looks a little bit more like this guy, right? Or, if you come from my world, I like this doctor, right? So who knows the show? House, right? It's a good show. This is your homework. Go home and watch it. So what sort of a doctor's house?
Investigator.
Diagnostics. He specialises in diagnostics. He looks to draw insights from tiny pieces of information that look disparate, unimportant, and he draws that insight together. Okay? So the second doctor is the doctor I go to when I've got a headache that turned up 3 days ago, and I don't normally get headaches, yeah? So instead of him asking me one question, he asked me a bunch of questions. What sort of questions would he ask me? I've got a headache, just turned up 3 days ago.
Dehydrated.
Sorry?
Dehydrated.
No, I've been drinking okay. Yep, good one. What else? No, that's okay. I've been sleeping good, yep.
Are you stressed?
Stressed? Nope. Turned up 3 days ago. No, I'm not stressed at all. No. No, 3 nights ago was Tuesday. I normally don't. I drink Thursdays to Mondays. How old are my kids? They're kind of they're young, but 3 days ago was when it turned up. You know, it was that day after work sort of stuff.
When did the pain start?
3 days ago in the afternoon.
Did you do something fall?
No, it was the usual sort of day. You know, just playing basketball with the guys after work and all the usual stuff I do.
You didn't get hit by the ball?
It was a tough game, I tell you what. Some of those dudes, they're monsters. I tell you, I reckon they got a few ring-ins in that team. That was huge.
Did you take a hit?
Yeah, I did. Actually, yeah, I did. But hey, you got to push through, right? The adrenaline's pumping. So this is a totally different conversation dynamic, right? You're questioning, that's not going anywhere. You question. This is what a brief looks like. If anyone ever tells you to go do something, right, you've got to decide, are you the person that just does what you're going to be told, or you're the person that goes, yeah, why do you want that done? What's the point? Because if you're going to get me to do something for 2 days, you can give me 2 minutes of your time, right? Otherwise, you're probably talking to the wrong person. I told you, pain in the ass to work with, right? It's kind of what it takes to sometimes unpack this stuff. The brief. Always a conversation. Dig. Be curious. Investigative. All right? If you get answers like, oh, I just did the usual, It's not an answer. What's the usual? Okay. Right, research. I'll only touch this for 2 seconds. Sounds basic. It is basic. This day and age, everybody can be half an expert in half an hour. Do it. I've literally had a guy walk into the office with my CEO, put a product down and says, this is going to revolutionise the automotive industry. He'd spent $5 million and 5 years on it. And in front of his face, my CEO called up Google, called up the product and said, dude, not only does that already exist, it's cheaper and better than that. I tell you what, you think you've had awkward moments. It felt like forever. And Stu said, I was doing him a favour. All right? Do your research. Things change, okay? The basics. Make sure you know what's out there, the technology, the competitors, the trends, all that sort of stuff. It's not hard. Immersion. So this is a bit of a strange word. It's a type of research, yeah? You got a minute? You free? Come here. This is Stuart, everybody. Come here, Stu. So, Stu's got a problem. Several, but I'm only going to talk about one, right? Stu has a problem, everybody. When he gets up to present, which he has to do all the time, he gets shortness of breath, hands get a bit clammy, feet get a bit sore. Overall, it's just a general, not a very pleasant experience. Yeah? Who can help? Give some help. You got to help me, please. Help. Any suggestions for Stu? Have a glass of water. That's a good one. What else? Nice. Breathing. Think about your breathing. Come on, breathing. Yep. What else? Any others?
Just relax.
Relax a bit.
Knows what you're going to say. That doesn't matter.
Imagine the audience was naked. Focus on this. I think this is a slightly better looking part of the audience. Right? Smile. Here we go. Smile. So this is what we do, right? We do this all the time. What are we doing?
Solutions.
We're trying to help somebody that has a problem by trying to understand the problem that's here from over there. We do it all the time. We're trying to understand Stuart's problem that's here over there. Go. Come here, big fella. Stand here. Does it look different from here than it did over there?
It's a little brighter.
Does it feel different here than it did over there?
Feels a lot different.
Yeah, it feels different. Kyle doesn't even have to say anything, and I guarantee he's already more stressed now than he was sitting over there. So we try and imagine what our clients are going through, or we imagine what another part of the business, or we do it all the time, and you can't. You can't understand what the problem is here from over there. Thanks, guys. Great work. Nice job. Shh. Right. So with immersion, again, pick yourself up. How many problems are you trying to solve from behind your desk? Yeah? Show me. I've got a problem over in so-and-so. Show me. Get up and go. It could be a flight. Why don't we do it? Remember the slide? We do what we know and what we like, which is not what we need. It is much more comfortable to sit there than get up here. I don't think anybody likes getting up here necessarily and standing here. It all makes us feel a bit uncomfortable, so we stay away from it. The process drives you to the immersion. Yeah? Have empathy for the user. Understand it. All right. Once you've done these, you've got a brief, you've questioned. Now you're ready to solve problems. That's why. With generating ideas, you can brainstorm, you can painstorm. There's a whole bunch of ideas. Okay? This is the fun part. We can do this. This is the tricky part. In addition to brainstorm, painstorm, have a look around for generating ideas. We use a whole bunch of techniques. One of them is biomimicry. Who's heard of biomimicry? Yeah, so it's still fun, right? And it's quite useful. This looks at things like, okay, what problem have we got? Well, we're using a lot of fossil fuels to maintain the temperature of multi-storey dwellings to within 1 degree. And then you go to nature and you go, has nature ever solved that problem? Damn right. Ants have been building multi-storey dwellings for a long time, and they maintain the temperature of their nest to within 1 degree using 0 fossil fuels. They do it through material selection, engineering, and ventilation. I don't know, could we learn anything from that? So biomimicry, there's a whole bunch of techniques you can use to spur that idea. Just get thinking about that sort of stuff. Once you've got those ideas, throw them on a wall, get around, and don't just pick the best idea. Be more specific, okay? What ideas do we want to carry forward? What are going to have a big impact, but might be hard to do? What's really super simple and easy, but you know, what's low-hanging fruit? Bang, push it through. Or what's just a really cool idea? That is something that we don't want to lose. Take that forward. Harvest, top select, present your ideas. It's required a lot of different skills, yeah? Investigative, research, empathy, creative, analytical, and your top ideas, you've got to sell it. If you can't sell an idea, right, you're hurting that idea. It may not be your default way of doing it, but you have to be able to sell it. Make something look good. And if you can't, find somebody that can to present that final idea. Because if it doesn't get through, the value you wanted to create will be lost. These are just some of the things that we use. Some of you go work there, I think Jeremy and Carl and this sort of stuff. It's really important in the process. Guys, that's it. That's the pillars that PI uses. I hope there's something in there that might get you thinking about a few things that you can take away. And Christina, thanks again for having us. Thanks a lot.